Hello everyone, my name is Max Millspa. I am a student ambassador at CU Denver. You might have seen a video where I introduced myself recently, might not have, that's totally cool. But I just want to give you some advice on what is the difference between a Bachelor of Arts degree and a Bachelor of Science degree for whatever major you have. And this can apply to any major you have. For example, psychology, there's a Bachelor of Arts version and a Bachelor of Science, and they just really, when it comes down to it, it just focuses on what kind of classes you'll end up taking, what you want your training to be, and what you want your story to say, and what you want to show, oh, I have more training in this versus that. All right, so let's get right down to it. So, a Bachelor of Arts, also known as a BA degree, focuses more on humanities. And what that means really is it just you all of course you take classes for your actual major, whatever it may be, but you also are more introduced to humanities classes, so you get more of a wide breadth of different kinds of classes. So you'll take more foreign language. If you like learning languages, you'll definitely do that. You'll take more history, you'll take more literature, just those. You also get more introduced critical thinking and essays. Of course, these both kind of cross play between BA and BS, but in general, BA is more focused on the humanities and also a little bit more so on the conceptual, actual practical application of your major. I'll talk about that more in just a bit. I'll give you an example degree and talk more about the nuances and whatnot. All right, and then a BS is also known as a Bachelor of Science. More focuses on science, you could probably guess, math and research. And so what that basically means is, when I mentioned you have those humanities classes like history, stuff like that. Instead of those classes, you'll be having more of a background in biology, in chemistry, maybe in physics. You might not need to do that. Some degrees you don't have to do that. Research and mathematics. So it kind of introduces you more towards the broad spectrum of science, just in general, like the School of Science. So if you're going to go more into the scientific route for whatever your major may be, the BS is definitely for you. If you know that you want to be an archaeologist, for example, but you want to do more research, you want to analyze data, then I would recommend getting a BS. But if you want to be, for example, an archaeologist, if you want to actually be in the field and have practical application for that, and do the job itself, I guess so, you'd want to get a Bachelor of Arts. And like I mentioned, I want to mention this one more time. The BS is also focused more on research. So if you want to get a PhD in whatever field you're going into, I would highly suggest you look into getting a BS, just because that has more statistics and it kind of prepares you a little bit more for graduate school in terms of BS. It's very common for people to get a BA and go into get a master's, but usually people who go into getting PhDs, that's mostly research, quite honestly, they usually end up getting a BS. All right, so let's move on to an actual example so I can show you what it actually looks like in real life, what the difference between a BA and a BS would look like. So basically, in psychology, which is the example degree I'm using, I personally am a psychology major. I know quite a bit about that. So I've researched this quite a bit throughout my college years. Trust me, I know a decent amount so far, I would say. And basically, I'm starting off with the BA in psychology. That would be you would probably take a few more actual psychology classes that are more practically applicable to psychology. So, for example, you'll take a bit more psychology classes in general. Examples of those would be theory of mind, theory of personality, um, things like that, principles of learning. Of course, you take intro to psychology for both. But you also take, like I said, more humanities classes. So you'll take more foreign language, you'll take more history and literature classes. The BS in psychology, you'll also have those base psychology classes like intro to psychology, principles of learning, but it'll just be more scientifically oriented. So you have to take more neuroscience classes, and you'll have to take some general education requirements for science, such as biology, chemistry. You could go take algebra, trigonometry, calculus, but you have to take more of those classes, and it'll better prepare you for that. So people who get BAs in psychology would usually go more into being a therapist or a counselor, mental health counselor, things along those lines. And people who get a BS in psychology would more become something more like a neuroscientist. They'd go into psychiatry, go into medicine. They would go into getting a PhD in psychology, things like that. So, lastly, just to wrap up, kind of touching back on what I said earlier, really want to kind of summarize what it really comes down to is just focus on what you want your personal story to say. and what you want to have training in. So if you want to show people when you go into master's school, even getting a job right after undergrad, of course, or when you go into master's school, or when you eventually go into graduate school, do you want to say, oh, I have more of a background and I'm more familiar with humanities and thinking critically about those things? Or do you want to say I have more of a background and I'm more passionate about science and research and biology, things like that? So it's really just what you want your story to say. I'm actually not sure if I said this earlier, but you should really just bear down on what you want to do in the future. So, for example, you just really think about what you want your career to be. Then you work backwards and think, okay, do I need a master's degree to get there? Do I just go right after undergrad? And it kind of falls into place, and you realize really naturally what degree would be better for you. So, um, that summarizes this video. I hope you really enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it personally for you. This is a topic close to my own personal heart. So hope this video helped, and you can reach out to me, Max Mills, with any questions you might have at all. And have a nice day.